Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? There is a lot going on. Amazon has recovered, allegedly. For the most part, they've recovered. Internet seems to be back up and running halfway decently better than last night. I will say this though. I want you to think about something. The internet was not meant to be controlled by a single company. And right now, Amazon controls about 30% of the world's internet traffic through AWS. That right there is a problem. It's not just a problem with regard to Amazon and all of its holdings. To me, this is all my opinion. I think that the world should look at Amazon and say to themselves just how much of every industry that it's in does it control. The internet should not be 30% controlled by a single entity. My humble opinion, right? And there are actually people out there that are working to change that, right? Getting funding for new servers, new DNS servers all around the world, things like that, because it's going to take money to create that kind of a network so that the company cannot do that. And I want you to stop and think about this as Bitcoiners, as crypto people. With that kind of money, okay? With that kind of money and that kind of, power, I honestly say to myself, yeah, no, that should not be. One. Two, what's the other problem that I see? Well, it really is just power. Now, from a crypto perspective, imagine if one company controlled 30% of Bitcoin, how much people would just lose their minds. That's what I mean. That's just crypto, right? Imagine crypto being controlled, 30% of all crypto being controlled by one company, one entity. One. Now I want you to apply that same thought to one company controlling 30% of the world's internet traffic. Does that make you stop and think? I hope so. I definitely hope so. Oh, okay. There you go. Let me try that. See if that works. So, Exodus Movement tokenizes Class A stock on Solana. The CEO, JP Richardson, emphasizing tokenization's future as Solana balances short-term volatility against bullish technical indicators. Basically, what that means is Exodus is in it to win it. Exodus is making big moves. Tokenizing Class A stock. That's kind of a big move last time I checked. And we should be paying attention to that. By the way, don't forget to invest in yourself today, all right? If you're watching this show right now, you are actually investing in yourself. But do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Just want to stress that. Stress it every day. Evernorth, supported by Ripple, plans a SPAC merger to establish the largest XRP treasury, aiming to reshape institutional crypto investment amid regulatory shifts. Everything's within regulatory shifts. But that's interesting that Evernorth is going to go public via a SPAC. And they're not the only company that's going to go public via a SPAC. You want to know who else is going to do that? Or at least considering that? Blockchain.com. Blockchain.com is considering entering the public market via a SPAC. I found that to be almost ridiculously interesting. Let me see if I can find my notes on that. Blockchain.com explores a SPAC merger to go public, leveraging crypto recovery, regulatory clarity, and institutional adoption following valuation challenges. What it means is that they couldn't set a number. They couldn't set a good valuation number, so they said, skip it, we'll just do it this way. And that might actually work out for them. I'm not saying that it definitely will, but going public via a SPAC can still grow money. It's still a way for people to get money into their company. So that's something we should probably watch out for. SIBO proposes extending options trading hours to align with global markets, potentially enabling 24 by 5. Okay, not 24 by 7, 24 by 5, Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day, trading access and altering U.S. market dynamics. Now, I can tell you now that there are a lot of exchanges that are considering 24 by 5, 24 by 7 trading. Why? Because crypto never sleeps. And even before crypto's popularity, a lot of these platforms had been considering it. I mean, I want you to think about this. Why do you have extended hours in the morning before it opens, before most exchanges open, and at night after most exchanges close? Why is that? Well, because they see the writing on the wall. They absolutely see the writing on the wall. And I'm interested to see how they actually pull it off. And the reason why we should be interested as people that are invested in crypto is because we should not just be invested in a single asset class, right? We should be diversifying. That's what I tell my kids. Diversify. Stocks, bonds, options, crypto, real estate, business. Diversify. So if one area takes a hit, you have other areas that might actually, bounce up. This morning, crypto's taking a hit. Or yesterday, for the past little while, crypto's been going like that, right? But on this side, well, the stock market's been just going up. All of the exchanges, all the 3 big exchanges, are all within 1% of their all-time highs right now, today, this second, give or take. Okay, 1%. This is why we pay attention to all the news that's out there that we possibly can, because we want to find those pearls that can be connected. We absolutely want to find those pearls. Now, there are some not similarities, but I am paying attention to Evernorth and blockchain.com trying to go public via SPACs. Interesting moves. What else do we have? Ethereum co-founder Joseph Lubin defends venture capital's role in blockchain development amid debates over centralized influence versus decentralization. Because you had a developer yesterday come out and say he's got issues with Paradigm having such, influence over, crypto development. A lot of the work that goes into crypto is free, right? You know that, right? At some point, these people have to eat. They have to be funded. Right? You know that, right? I mean, I understand the debate. I really do understand the debate, but I also understand that, a garage project, as they're called, projects you're doing on the side, right? If they start to take off, they have to be funded. People have to eat. People have to make money. People have to keep a roof over their head, clothes on their back. And then people say, oh, well, don't they get coins? Possibly. And then why can't people invest in it? I mean, wouldn't it be the same as me walking over to Vitalik Buterin and saying, here's some money so you and your team can keep developing? And would I not expect something back? It's not a donation. I don't give money out. I mean, save my kids. I don't give money, and the dog, you know what I'm saying? But, besides my family, I'm not trying to give money out for free. I want something in return. Here's the kicker, though. I don't actually need influence. Would I like a vote? Perhaps. But I don't need influence. I believe in what you're doing. So I can understand the debate, but I just want to bring it down a notch and just say, let's just pay attention to this. Let's have fruitful conversation. That's just me, though. That's just me. Now, Coinbase also spent $25 million to get their hands on the Up Only podcast. And the reason why that's a big deal is because obviously it's a podcast. So you get their hands on the Up Only podcast. I wish somebody would come along and offer me money to take over my podcast or to invest in my podcast. That'd be pretty awesome, depending on the deal. But if you stop and you think about, the merging of entertainment, the gamification of crypto and investment, that whole thing. you've got to have some kind of an idea about, yeah, I can understand why people are, can be a little sensitive to the idea of the further gamification, the further entertainment side of crypto. I don't know. I actually don't like the idea of gamifying investment because a lot of people invest with money that they need to make money, right? And you have others that invest because, they have to or they feel they want to, and they're still getting educated. Education is one thing, entertainment is another. And the gamification, that's why I look at Polymarket, Kalshi. I look at all of those, companies that are doing, voting or betting on how people think things will go. It's very Running Man to me. It's giving Running Man vibes. And what I mean by that is it seems dangerous to me. Investing's not really a game. It's not. I tell you guys all the time, don't I? We're going to have to invest just to survive. And if we have to invest just to survive, does that make it a game? That's not a game. And I think people are going to look back and they're going to be like, I should have probably taken certain things more seriously. Just my thoughts, just sharing my thoughts. ECB's Joaquin Nagel warns of economic collapse if trust in central banks erodes. Who do you think that message was meant for? No, not the new regime. But yeah, that's who it's meant for, clearly. Because if the world can't trust the numbers and the judgment of our central bank, that's going to affect how they value U.S. debt. And I want you to play that out in your head if countries start distrusting U.S. debt. That's a massive problem. Massive. It's not a little itty bitty one. It's a big problem. And that's why that message was sent. Again, I'll read it for you again. ECB's Joaquin Nagel warns of economic collapse if trust in central banks erodes. And it's not just for the current regime. It's meant for leaders around the world that are contemplating stupid ideas. That's what I'm paying attention to, folks. That's the one. That's literally the one. Somalia advances its 2025 to 2030 digital transformation strategy. That's a good thing. The reason why I bring it up is because you're starting to see, smaller economies around the world start to step into big boy shorts, big girl shorts, adult pants. You know what I'm saying? They're starting to make moves that matter. And I think that we should be paying attention to those countries. We really, really should. They're making things happen, and it's happening quietly. You're probably not going to see too much noise about what Somalia is doing over there, what Kazakhstan's doing over there. All these small countries that are making moves. You could also point that finger toward Argentina. And some people will be like, why would you do that? Here's why. Argentina cut a deal with the United States for $20 billion. Milei comes here, gets another, was it Venezuela or Argentina? I think it's Venezuela. Which one is Milei? Milei, yeah. Yeah, Argentina. So Argentina cuts a deal with the United States for $20 billion. Then he comes here, ups that money from $20 billion to $40 billion. Then he totally, completely decimates the U.S. market for soybeans by dropping prices for their soybeans and selling to China. So that was the first kick in the teeth to the U.S. citizens whose money you're giving to Argentina. What was the second kick in the teeth? Oh, that's right. Now we're thinking about, instead of fixing, the beef market here in the United States, we're going to import beef from Argentina. Now, here's a problem. Yes, it does affect our bottom lines, affects our health, affects a lot of things. And we probably should be looking at this. So, because it could be a business model frankly, is what I'm thinking. So here's a problem. So do you know that we've gotten rid of a lot of food inspectors? Yeah, food inspections have been basically gutted by the United States government. So we don't know the quality of the food that we're importing. Facts. You can go look it up. That's a problem, right? And some companies are like, yeah, that's great for us. We're going to be able to do, oh, except for one problem. When people start to get sick. That's not good for you. So the question is, are they going to start turning to independent inspections? Trusted resources, if the government is not going to step in and look at all that. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to me. How does that work? Right? So you want to import beef from Argentina? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's something wrong with the beef. I'm just saying that. So you've already destroyed the soybean farmers, or you're currently in the midst of destroying the soybean farmers. What was last year's $24 billion in soybean sold, and this year nothing, zero, goose egg, nil, nada, nilch. Yeah. And now we're going to import beef. Interesting. So immediately what goes to my head is, what kind of business can I start or invest in that can help me get there? Is it going to be farmer direct sales? Right? Do I buy into a farm, to a cattle ranch and help them market so that they can get their products out there directly? Yes, there are people out there that are buying food directly, buying beef directly from farms, bypassing stores, just going direct. During the pandemic, you want to know something? If Costco didn't come up with a sale, didn't come up with the right prices, I had already identified 3 farms that were viable choices for me to buy half a cow. And then my brother got involved, and we were thinking about buying a whole cow. Yeah. Exactly. But I did the math, and I was able, in doing that math and how much meat we would get and all that good stuff, Costco had good prices, so we were able to just go to Costco. And we did. We went to Costco, and we stocked up. Stocked up big. So yeah, I think about stuff like that. So what kind of businesses, offshoots can we get into that can grow our bags? Interesting to me. Bybit's credit card, crypto to cash, cash to crypto. Yeah. Bybit's card wins best performing crypto card at MasterCard's Edge 2025. That's pretty freaking awesome. That's pretty freaking awesome. I mean, I think that's going to be a short-lived venture, frankly. And people are wondering why. Hear me out. Right now, when you walk into a store, you've got to pay in fiat. Whatever your fiat is, whatever country you're in, you've got to pay in fiat. So if you're holding a lot of crypto and you want to leverage your crypto to help pay for stuff, you need that middle person, that middle company to do the exchange for you. Crypto to fiat to pay your bill, right? And there are a couple of ways that these companies can do it. They could just buy your crypto and pay the bill. And holding the crypto might actually make them money, or if they actually need the liquidity to do everything, they can swap it on exchanges, all that kind of stuff. So hear me out. Excuse me. So that's one way. Those are the 2 ways, right? We can hold it. We can hold your crypto. We have a lot of money. We can just handle that liquidity, and then we can sell that crypto, right, at a profit, making more money. But as companies and stores and vendors around the world get used to and get comfortable with getting paid in crypto, okay, those cards don't really have a place anymore, do they? Or that market for them, total accessible market, TAM, starts to diminish. That's why I think it's a short-lived business. Once that business model gets off, You could ride it until it actually dies. But I think it starts off, the TAM starts off this big. Again, total addressable market. I think that TAM starts to shrink over time. And I think that the speed of that shrinkage increases over time. You have banks right now that are moving into crypto. That's actually setting up the stage for growth in that crypto space. So having credit cards, being able to translate your crypto into fiat so they can pay the bill for whatever it is that you bought, I think that market's going to be here for a minute. Give it a nickel. Give it 5 years. I think tops. I think they'll enjoy the ride for the next 3 to 4 years, and it'll go away. It'll start declining after that. Like, you won't be looking for that middleman anymore. You'll just be looking to walk into a store and boop, boop, pay with crypto straight. Which, if you stop and think about it, that's an OTC transaction. That's a direct entity to entity transaction. Yeah. Think about the ramifications of that. I'm telling you, it's big. It's definitely big. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. All right. Let me get my notes out of the way. So Dow futures implied open 37 points down. S&P futures implied open 4.25 points down. NASDAQ implied futures implied open 30 points down. That's basically flat. All of it's basically flat. They're all three of those indices are within 1% of their all-time highs. Oil is up 0.56. US 10-year is unchanged at 3.988. This should all be interesting to you. Just saying. Today, we already got GE Aerospace. They beat on the top and bottom lines. Netflix is expected. Coca-Cola, Philip Morris, RTX Corporation, Intuitive Surgical, Texas Instruments, Capital One, Lockheed Martin, Chubb Limited, Northrop Grumman is another one I'm interested in. 3M Corporation. So do you see what I'm talking about? And there's NASDAQ. Do you see what I'm talking about? There are a lot of numbers coming out this week. It's a big numbers week across many different industries, many different sectors. You should be paying attention. We're talking about market moving right now. Market moving right now. Pay attention. There could be opportunities for volatility. That's all I'm saying. Not getting any numbers right now. What we're really expecting is CPI on Friday. See my fingers? That's what I'm talking about, CPI on Friday. Fear and Greed Index is up from 29 to 34. We're still in the fear space. DeFi Llama, $150.471 billion in total value locked. Yes, that's down from 154 plus yesterday. Then you have Bitcoin. Like I said, there you go. It seems like right now we're having a hard time. Let me put it in the middle. We're having a hard time staying above the bottom part of my band, which is 109,337. With Bitcoin down right now. Can't tell me that's not painful. 107,674. Right about there. Look at that. Just saying. Got to fight the battle. Now for me, blood in the streets, what does it mean to me? I'm going to be in it. Sprinkle, sprinkle, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. What else do we have on the big board? Like I said, I'm looking at a whole bunch of things right here that look like they can make money for me. Doge, Link, ADA, Solana, if you're into that kind of thing, XRP, ETH, BNB, BCH, BTC, Hype, probably Leo. For me to get into it, there'd be more, but I know people are getting into it. HBAR, XMR, Aave, Avalanche, even Shiba Inu. If it goes up, if I was to buy in right now and it just went up a little bit, I'd be in the money. I'm in the money already, but I'd be way more in the money buying down at that level. Wow. Because look at that. SHIB is all the way down here, just above Monero. It's out of the top 20 at 10 exactly. Wow. Wow. It was at 0.9 something yesterday, 9 something. And I'm like, yeah, I could get in and I can make money off of SHIB. Because even if it just bounces between 10 and 12, is that not is that not a 20% move? That would make me happy, just bouncing between those two numbers. Play the volatility. You also have to contemplate your tax implications. Let's not get it twisted. There are tax implications for, playing the volatility. So Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Pay attention out there, folks. Pay attention. There are a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things that you shouldn't do, and those are the things that I contemplate all the time. Let's see. I have not refreshed this. Let's see. Is there anybody up here on the positive side that I care about? I know a lot of people are playing games with Zcash, 7.68 up, GMB X factor of 11.43. That's why I'm not touching it. Let's see. Nope. And you're quickly into, as soon as you drop down over here, you're quickly beyond my 5%, rule, right? The answer. Good day. Today is Fed Payments Innovation Conference. I don't even know what that is, but okay. I don't know if that's going to be an impactful thing. I know a lot of conversations are going to happen there, just given by the title. But I don't know that it's actually going to hurt my bag or move my bag in either way. I'd be interested to find out what comes out of that conference, right? From decision makers or what's on people's minds, that kind of thing. Actually, let's go to loser side. Yeah, you got a lot of losers on this side. So Floki's down 10.24% with a GMB X factor of 3.67. Why? Oh, yeah, that's right. Elon was yapping about it. Pancake Swap down 9.78. GMB X factor of 15.28. Let's see who else. Artificial and Superintelligence Alliance down 8.30. GMB X factor of 12.13. Started out as a really good idea. Poor implementation and being stepped on by Coinbase because Coinbase didn't want to participate. That's what hurt that. But I think it can come back. I think I have a lot of hopes for Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. Astra down 7.15%, down to 111. Look at that. GMB X factor of 1.17. Would I be interested in getting in? I told you I have a standing buy order at $1. Standing buy order at $1. I want you to think about that. So if it gets down to $1 and it pops back up to 125, see where I'm going? Yeah. BitTensor down 6.98% with GMB X factor of 0.88. That's why people are paying attention to it. There's potential there. Let's see who else I'm paying attention to. Mantle down 6.24% with a GMB X factor of 0.66. That's why I have a bag of Mantle. CurveDAO, actually Jitto down 5.69%, GMB X factor of 4.53. CurveDAO down 5.68%, GMB X factor of 27.72. Yeah, I'm not touching that. I just happen to know a bunch of people that have bags in it, so but I'm not touching that. Let's see, anybody else I'm paying attention to? Bonk down 5.28%, GMB X factor of 3.01. Yes, I think Bonk can do it. Immutable down 5.125%, GMB X factor of 17.69. No. Straight up no. Even if games come back, no. It'll be a while. So like games have to come back and Immutable has to do some work, put that work in for me to believe that they're going to make it back to that all-time high. Can they? Yes. Just not in a near-term time frame. I think it's a longer-term time frame. But I do like Immutable. I will say that. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us, and absolutely subscribe. We have a growing community here, and it's going awesomely. Okay, and if you can, become a member. Membership has its benefits because remember, we're about to launch a brand new platform, and that brand new platform is going to bring to you an acutely focused platform only on investing. No sports, no religion, no politics, just things and topics and education about investing. Yeah. And we're trying to stop bots from even trying to get onto the platform. Yeah. So it's stuff like that. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I greatly appreciate you, all of you. Have a good one, everybody. See you tonight on the Crypto Overflow at Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m.